Hey guys, and welcome to part 3 of my Throne of Glass reading vlog. We are on Crown of Midnight, so if you have not seen my reading vlogs of Assassin's Blade and Throne of Glass, definitely go back and watch those because it was so fun reading the book and kind of just sharing all my thoughts with you. If you have not read this book or the other two books, Throne of Glass or Assassin's Blade, do not watch this video because this is full spoilers. I'm giving all of my thoughts and like kind of telling you what's happening in the book. So if you have not read all 3 of these books, do not watch this video. I started this today. I tried to film my intro this morning, but it was pouring like crazy and you could hear the rain, so I waited until tonight. But since I had a benchmark testing today, I got to read a ton at school. So I made it to page 108. So I've actually put in a big chunk today, which I'm fairly proud of. And somehow I only have 2 tabs, which if you saw my other videos, I had so many tabs in the books, which I'm sure the tabs would come. And there are some things that I may go back and tab, like the scenes, just so I can go back to them easily, just because I like some parts. But I am enjoying the book very much so far. Well, mostly. So I enjoy Selena's character, and I love the fact that she is like finding ways to not kill the people she's ordered to kill. And I think that just shows her character so much and shows how different she is from what she came from. But also it's showing that she is like not a terrible person. She just had to do terrible things to survive in the life that she was in. And I love that about her. I'm so attached to her. I don't want anything bad to happen to her because I'm like she needs a better life. But what I do not like about this book is the kind of love triangle that we're getting. I don't know if this is like known for being a love triangle, but I don't like love triangles. The only other book that I remember reading that has a love triangle is Inheritance Games, and that love triangle is so faint that I can just ignore it. But this one, it's like you're getting the feelings from both guys, and I don't like it. I'm not a fan. I really like Dorian. I want her to be with Dorian because I don't know, he seems so like cute, like easygoing, you know? He just seems like a good guy. But Chow, on the other hand, first off, he gave me the creeps whenever he was watching her from the balcony. I have no idea why that scene kind of imprinted itself in my brain. But every time I think of Chow, I'm thinking like he just stared at her while she was on her balcony and she didn't know. So I think that's creepy. He is spending a lot more time with her than Dorian is, and it makes me upset a little bit. Which, honestly, I don't think she's going to end up with either of them because we're only in book 3, so there has to be things that happen. But I hope she ends up with Dorian. I'm not a fan of Chow. I don't hate him, but sometimes his thinking, like, it's just weird. Like, he acknowledges the fact that Dorian had a crush on her and it would be wrong for him to like her. But then at the same time, he's like thinking things he should not be thinking if he is trying to stay away from Selena in a romantic way. But Selena's putting it on herself because she's kind of flirting with both of them. So I'm a little bit upset about that. I wish it wasn't a love triangle. I just personally do not like love triangles. So sadly, that may just be a part of the book that I will have to see past. Since I am on page 108, we are on chapter 14, and a lot has happened so far. I'm gonna read my 2 little quotes in here, which my last vlog was like me reading nothing but quotes, so I'm gonna try to give a little bit more feedback about the book itself than just giving a bunch of quotes that I like. This is whenever she's going out into the town to spy on her new assignment, basically, and she says, "It felt like she never left, as if she might look over her shoulder and find Sam Cortland crouching behind her." And that part, just, if y'all don't know, I love Sam. I'm not over his death. And then a little later it says, "It had been over 1.5 years since the night she had lost her freedom. 1.5 years since she'd lost Sam. And somewhere in the city were the answers to how it all happened. If she dared to look, she knew she'd find them. And she knew it would destroy her." So I feel like she definitely, like, she knows who betrayed her. Like, she knows it was a Darlin, but I think she just kind of is trying to avoid that thought just to keep off the emotions longer. And then the next thing I highlighted was when she was talking to Chow, and Selena's like, "Do you know Farron?" And Chow's like, "The crime lord? Have you dealt with him?" Selena says, "No, but Farron is dead." "Farron's dead?" 9 months ago, he and his 3 top men were all found murdered by Wesley. a man named Wesley took them all out. He was Arabin Hamill's personal guard. And I put yes because I'm so glad Wesley turned on Arabin by killing him, but also he like tried to stop Selena, and I wish he was more coherent to like realize the trap before she got into it and he tried to stop her. Later it says, did Farron Min catch him? And Chow says, no, we found Wesley a day later, courtesy of Arabin Hamil. And I put no, and he was like brutally murdered, so I feel so bad, but I'm glad he got revenge. He had to have known that he was like signing off his death by killing them and turning on Arabin. Those are the only two things I've highlighted so far. Like I said, there may be scenes that I want to go back and kind of just tab to go back and look at, but I'm really enjoying the book so far. I honestly do not know what to expect, because I feel like every time I read another chapter I'm like, this is going different than I thought, because I think it's because I have not read any sort of synopsis or like what the series is about, so I honestly have no idea what to expect this series to be about, because I'm just going off of what I've read so far, and like more keeps coming, like the talking doorknob, like magic coming back into the world. So I really don't know what to expect, but I'm enjoying figuring it out. I hope I read as much tomorrow as I did today. We do have a tennis tournament, but it's supposed to be so super windy tomorrow, so I don't know how well that's gonna go for us. So maybe I will have time to read, but I'm happy with the progress I've made today. I may go read a little bit before I go to sleep, but that's my update for now, and I will see you guys next time. It is now, I don't know what day it is. It is Friday morning and it's 7:30 a.m. and I need to go to work like right now. But I wanted to give you a little update because priorities. So I finished at 1:12, whatever day it was, and I didn't read any the day before yesterday. So I didn't read any Wednesday. And then yesterday I got to read during my benchmark, and I got to page 180, and I have 3 little tabs in between. I'm still really enjoying it. I listened to the audiobook for like 5 minutes maybe, and she started saying the names all crazy, and I don't say the names like that, so if I'm saying every single person's name wrong, please forgive me and just go along with it, you know? I don't want her to be with Gal. Like, I don't. I want her to be with Dorian, but I think we're so far past that, it doesn't even matter. But I just underlined a little pieces of information that I wanted to be able to look back on. I underlined this part on page 112 that just talks about iron is the one element immune to magic, whatever it came from. Magic had countless variations, abilities to heal, to shapeshift, to summon flame or water or storm, to encourage growth of crops and plants, to glimpse the future, and on and on. So I just highlighted that just to have a little background on magic. And then this next part is after the concert in the castle, and the girl sings a song about Faye, and then she gets literally murdered, which is, I was not expecting that. I was like, but she says, I have worked for 10 years to become famous enough to gain invitation to the castle. 10 years so that I could come here and sing the songs of magic that you tried to wipe out. So I could sing those songs and you would know that we are still here. That you may outlaw magic, that you may slaughter thousands, but we who keep the old ways still remember. That's bonkers. And then she goes on to say, like, her daughter, her sister, her neighbors, like, she lost a lot of people because of it, and I think that's why she kind of devoted her life to getting a presence with the king. But that's wild. And then I underlined this line. This is on page 135, so we're a little ahead. And this is after Selena and Chow just danced. And she says, in that moment, after 10 years, Selena looked at Chow and realized she was home. But I want her to look at Dorian and realize that she's home. But it doesn't seem like that's what we're going to get. And then a little bit later on 144, I kind of just highlighted a little bit of where Dorian punched the wall. And it cracked all the way to the window and shattered the window. And it's kind of revealing that he has a bit of magic. Which I feel like he would have realized he had magic before now. But, you know, it's not my story. So I guess he has a little bit of magic. So I'm eager to see, like, what comes of that, because I'm not really sure where we're going with that. And then the next part was with Selena and Chow, and they're just kind of messing with each other. She says, all I'm saying is that I like some chocolate cake every now and then. He closed his eyes. And an apple tart, and a loaf of bread, and a pot of stew, and a mountain of cookies, and she interrupted him. And then Selena says, so what if it is? Haven't I earned the right to eat as much as I want whenever I want? And she yanked her foot from his grasp as the smile faded from his face. Yes, he said. He got up and started walking away and she's like, where are you going? And he said, he opened a door and he said, to get chocolate cake. And that's a cute scene, I will say. Even though I'm a very big Dorian fan, that was a cute scene. That's bonus points for Cal, but he still gets negative points for staring at her on her balcony, so. And then a little bit later after that, she says, and maybe it had taken her this long to realize it, but this man, she wanted a life with him. No, she wants a life with Dorian. Just hear me out. She wants a life with Dorian. Like, I'm glad she's happy. You know, she deserves to be happy. But I really want her to be with Dorian. And I think I'm delusional in that thinking. So I really need to go to work because I'm already going to be late. But I'm on page 180. I'm going to try to read a lot today because I need to finish this tomorrow. So that's my update for now. And I will see you guys after school. I just got home and Raja wanted to come say hi. Hi, Miss Raja. She's has no personal space whatsoever. We'll see if she'll lay here. But no, she just wants to play. Okay, me and Raja are gonna give you an update on Crown of Midnight. The plot has thickened, let me tell you. So I am now on page. Is this what it is like to have kids? Like, I feel like this is what it is like to have kids. I am now on page 268, and I don't know where.
Stop it right now. What is wrong with you?
Oh, so at page 230, it goes to part 2 with the Queen's Arrow, and I didn't even realize there was 2 parts of this. But, I mean, there could be more than 2 parts. I just didn't really look that hard at it. But since this morning, the next thing I had tabbed was where Dorian says, Cal, treat her well. And then Cal, like, tries to stop Dorian, but he kind of rides away on his horse, because I just thought that was kind of a cute moment between them. And Dorian has, like, officially been like, I'm gonna let her go. Cal can have her. And then we get later on, about page 230, and Nehemiah is dead. And I'm so upset about it. It's like Sam all over again, and it's so sad, and I feel so bad for Selena, because she's been through so freaking much. And last night when I was listening to the audiobook, they were saying her name was Namia. I think that's what they were saying her name was. But that doesn't sound right. I think it's Nehemiah. It just doesn't have the H at the end. So I'm just going to say Nehemiah. And it's like more of a Nehemiah, not Anyways. So that happened. And my jaw was literally on the floor. I was hoping that she was going to get there before they got to her. And I'm so upset that they didn't. I see why. Like, I see how it makes the story better. But it just... I wish she could be alive because that was like Selena's first real friend and she was so sweet and I'm so sad about it. Like, I feel like I'm gonna lose so many more people that I like in this series and we've lost 2 so far and I'm just not prepared. And then those are the only 2 things that I've tabbed because I've really just been reading. I have not been stopping long enough to tab. But Dorian does have more of a magic, like more magic now because he stopped Selena from stabbing Cal, which I guess the whole Cal and Selena trope is over because of what happened. And I did not want them to be together, but I did not want it to end like that. Like, that just makes me upset. Like, I would rather them be together than whatever the mess happened because she kind of blamed him for Nehemiah, which it was kind of his fault because he didn't tell her, but she turned on him so fast and it's so sad. And they keep saying, like, they don't know where Selena is. Like, the girl they loved is gone. Which I would be gone too if the second person that I absolutely cared about more than anyone else was dead. She just got to the point where she gave the head of that other guy who was competing to be the champion who killed Nehemiah to the king's person, whoever... You know what I'm saying? She just delivered the head to the king and was like very bold about it. And the king actually wasn't mad about it. So that's good because she could totally be killed on the spot for that. But I want Dorian to go try to talk to her. Like, I really want him to. But at the same time, I want Cal to go talk to her because I'm upset because of how it ended between them. But I'm more team Dorian. And also, they're saying that Selena has powers now because she ran so fast. And like, Cal got a horse and she still ran faster than Cal. So I don't know what's happening. So maybe some people have magic, maybe some people don't have magic. I don't know. Also, I just got home from school and we had tennis practice, which is why I look like this. I'm about to go take a shower and then I'm going to read the rest of this book. Hopefully tonight. I'm on page 268 right now and there's like 413, 414 or something like that. So I really want to finish tonight, but it just depends. I may take breaks to like clean the house and stuff, but I don't know. It just kind of depends. My husband's not going to be home until like 9 tonight because he's on a trip to San Antonio. So I have plenty of time to like read by myself, but I do also need to clean the house. And I have to baby Raja because she has to be babied. I'm going to update you guys in a little bit when I've read more. I'm still upset about Nehemiah, but maybe her and Dorian will end up together. I hope her and Cout like forgive each other. I don't know how, but maybe. I just got out of the shower and just like slicked my hair back, so ignore the fact that I look like I'm bald. But I got to page 187, which is chapter 38, and I'm gonna sit here and read. The story is so good, so good. But I'm gonna make this for dinner. We got factor meals to try out, so I'm gonna make this and then eat it. And I have a little Alani to get me through, and I'll update you when something else extraordinary happens. I'm so sad. I don't want her to be gone. I always wish that people could like I know people pass away, but then there's this big miraculous way that she didn't actually pass away. That would be nice, but I don't think that's gonna happen. So I'm gonna continue on. Now that I'm done eating, I do have like an hour of footage, so I'm gonna sit here and read for a bit. I have finished this book. I am in my sister-in-law's room because we spent the night here last night, but her bookshelves are beautiful. But I tried to finish this last night, but my husband went to sleep, so I kind of didn't want the light to bother him, so I kind of stopped. And then this morning I woke up at like 5 a.m. and finished the rest of it. And it's so good. I gave it 5 stars. I love the series so much. I cannot comprehend how the books get better than this, but apparently they do. I do have more tabs, but since I was reading at 5 a.m., I didn't have my highlighters. So I'm gonna go through and highlight everything and then give you all the highlights, but just my thoughts, my mind is blown. But I should have expected it because obviously something like this had to happen. But her being Aelin is insane. Like, insane. But it also makes me so happy. But at the point where it was kind of talking about Aelin and like the Lost Queen or whatever, I honestly wasn't really paying attention. Like I was, but maybe I wasn't because I don't remember exactly what they said. So I probably should have paid a little bit more attention. And now I feel like I need to go back and reread the series already. Like I haven't even finished and I want to go back and reread it. There's a very, very high chance that when I finish this, I go back and listen to the audiobooks because it's so good. I want this to be a TV series, but I want it to be so true to the books. Like, I wish that were a thing. And I'm so surprised that it's not a thing by now. Like, why is Throne of Glass not a series? But it has to be done right, because if they start changing things, that would be terrible. But this is 5 stars. I think all of the books from now on are gonna be 5 stars, and the only book in the series that's not 5 stars is Throne of Glass, just because, yeah. I feel like they were trying to allude to so much in Throne of Glass without telling you, and that's what Assassin's Blade is for. But she should have just wrote Assassin's Blade first, and then Throne of Glass would have been better. But it was her first book, so it doesn't matter. I'm so excited to start, is it Heir of Fire or something like that? Which I think is a bit thicker than this one. I think the books get thicker from now on. I'm looking at my sister's shelves, and the last book, oh, it's so big. But I did read this faster than I read the other two. I read this in like right at a week. So maybe it wasn't faster. But I feel like it was because there's some days I did not read at all. So I was making good progress. I read 100 pages the first day, I think 100 pages the next day, and then I read about 200 yesterday and this morning. So I am reading it faster. Hopefully I will finish the next one fast as well, and I'm so excited. But I was thinking we're about to go on a ski trip, and I was thinking maybe I would take a break from the series and read something else while we went, but I don't think I can do that. Also, I still don't like Cal, and I especially didn't like what he did, but then he like kind of redeemed himself a little bit with helping Selena at the end, but still at the very like the last couple pages he's still saying that like she is the greatest threat to the king, and like how do you not realize like the king is the problem at this, like it's just wild. So I honestly do not like him. I wish she didn't love him, and I wish she would just be with Dorian. Hopefully she can be with Dorian, because I feel like her and Dorian are so similar, and Cal is just there. But Selena being Faye is so fun. Like, I'm so here for it. But that is my update for now in this beautiful room. But I'm gonna highlight everything once we get home, and then I'll share my highlights with you. But oh, this series is so good. I'm not home and it's the next day, but I want to give you my last final thoughts on Crown of Midnight. The last thing I think I told you that I highlighted was that Nehemiah was dead, which I'm still not over that because that's so sad. But her knowing that she was gonna die, or dying on purpose so that other events would happen, is like so... like I can't wrap my head around that. Because it's like obviously selfless, but then at the same time like, don't do that, you know? But I don't know if the events following would have happened if she didn't die. So I guess that's what she did, but it's still sad. On page 294, I highlighted, this is like whenever Cal is like thinking about the fact that Selena said, "You will always be my enemy." And I highlighted the part that said, which house does she belong to? Her parents hadn't just been murdered. They were part of the nobility who had been executed by the king, slaughtered. Regardless of what territory her parents lorded over, if Selena ever took the mantle, she'd lost, and if Terrasen ever got to its feet, then Selena would become a powerhouse, potentially capable of standing against a Darlin. And that made Selena more than just an enemy. It made her the greatest threat he ever encountered. This part honestly just annoys me because Cal is still loyal to the king, which at this point he doesn't know about the war keys and stuff, but he still says something similar to this at the very end, which I also highlighted. So I just wonder, when is he gonna realize that the king is the problem? But we'll get to that point. And then this is the part where Dorian invites Selena up to dinner after the things with Cal go down, and he's like, "Why did you accept my invite?" And she's like, "Because I have nowhere else to go." Dorian nodded, looking at her with kindness she couldn't stand. "Then you will always have a place here." That makes me so happy. I love this line because I love Dorian and I want them to be together. I feel like they are just meant for each other. I want more lines like this between her and Dorian because I feel like they are so similar, and obviously we find out later that Selena is like meant to be the queen technically, and he's like the prince, and I feel like they would just go so well together, even though it's like different territories, but still. And then this is whenever her and Dorian are fighting the creature under the library, and it says, "How long will the spell hold?" he asks. "Until I remove the marks, I think." And then he says, "I don't think we can let anyone else know about this." Like, obviously they both just kind of revealed that they have magic, or they know how to use magic, and they would be both executed if anyone else found out. So I just think that line's funny. And then Selena says, "So do you want to explain yourself first, or should I?" And I just like how they like instantly trust each other wholly. Like, obviously they have to because they both revealed things that they could easily be executed for. So like they have to trust each other, but they are just so perfect. And then this is later when Selena is talking to the doorknob, which I think it's so funny that it's a doorknob, because in my head a doorknob is probably like one of the most useless things it could be. Like, it could be the whole door, like he could be a talking door, but instead it's just a doorknob. Or like a talking picture, which I feel like it is usually a talking picture. But I just think it's so funny. But I guess the doorknob does let you enter the room, but the doorknob is so small compared to like anything else it could be, so I just find that so funny. And then she says, "How long do you think the portal can stay open?" And he says, "Whatever you were thinking, whatever you're going to do right now, stop it, because it's a terrible idea." But she wants to open the portal so that she can talk to Nehemiah just for a little bit, which is very, like, it makes sense, but it's very selfish in the aspect that anything could come through the portal, and something does come through the portal, so she literally almost risked everything to talk to Nehemiah for like half a second. And then this is after they fought the thing that came out of the portal, which I need to go back and find like one part or the scene where Selena turns Faye, and I need to highlight that. I just didn't, there wasn't a specific line that I wanted to highlight, so I didn't, but I'm definitely gonna go back and kind of find that so I can look back at it easier. But this is when she kind of sends Dorian away so that she can talk to Cal. And it says, but even as he walked out of the dining room, part of him realized that his magic, that he was the least of their concerns, because even from the first day in Endovir, this had been about them. In my head, I think it's talking about him and Selena, but then I was thinking, and I was like, wait, is it about, she's talking about Cal and Selena? But I don't know, I think it's about Dorian and Selena, but I just want that. I feel like they are just meant to be. But sadly, she loves Cal for some unknown reason. And then this is the part where the king is thinking to himself, and it says, but he wished that Parrington was here for more important reasons too, to help him find out who had opened the portal last night. So it's just showing that the king is aware that someone opened the portal and like someone knows magic, and that means he's going to be more high alert in the next books, which I guess it doesn't super matter right now because Selena just got sent to the other kingdom or whatever, which I'm not happy about. But this is the part where Cal finds her, like right before she's gonna go on the ship, and it says, I love you, and then she says, I'm sorry. But it's after she whispered the date in his ear. And then it says, the ship began to move, and Cal, the man she hated and loved so much that she could hardly think around him, just stood there watching her go. Oh, I wish this was Dorian. I wish this was Dorian right now. And then we get to the part where he finally like figures out what the date means, and I kind of just highlighted the whole parts from the book where it just says that the king and his nephew and the heir of the throne were all murdered, and then the daughter Aelin, they didn't have any word about it yet. And then the next part is that Aelin, the heir of the throne, died today sometime in the night before help could reach her deceased parents' estate. The assassin who had missed her the night before returned, her body still not found, though some believe it was thrown into the river behind her parents' house. And that's where Arabin found her. Cal's reading this and he doesn't like automatically put the pieces together, which is so crazy. I also underlined the part where it says my grandmother was Fae, because she was a Fae queen, which is like big deal. And then there's this little poem at the top of the book that says I'm not sure how to say this. Ash River Eyes? Is this Ash River? Ash? I feel like it's Ash River or Ash River. I don't know. But the Ash River eyes, the fairest eyes from legends old, of bright blue, ringed in gold. And he had looked in those eyes so many times, so he knows that Selena has those eyes. And then he finally puts two and two together, and it says Selena Sardothian was Aelin Ashriver Galathinius. These are very hard names if you can't tell. Heir of the throne, the rightful queen of Terrasen. Selena was Aelin, the greatest living threat to Darlin, the one person who could rise an army capable of standing against the king. Now she was the only person who knew the secret source of the king's power, and who sought a way to destroy it. Which, her being Aelin makes me like beyond happy. Yes, because someone needs to do something about the king. Like, we need to get him gone, murdered, something. Like, he has to go. Because he's such a terrible person. Even like, I guess before he even used the word keys, he was a terrible person, but using the word keys to take away magic from everyone except for himself is like ridiculous. So that's the last page of the book, but I love this so much. It was so fun to read, and if you did not rate this book 5 stars, like, I don't know, I feel like every book after this is going to be 5 stars, and the only book in the series that's not 5 stars is Throne of Glass, and that has to be just because it's the first book. She should have just wrote Assassin's Blade first and then went from there, instead of trying to keep things like secretive and only revealing tiny things at a time, because in the first book that's just too much to do. So I think that's why I didn't like Throne of Glass, but this book is a solid 5 stars, and I have the next one here, the Heir of Fire, but this one is a brick. It's like 150 pages longer than Round of Midnight, so I'm a little bit nervous about it. I don't know how long it's going to take me to finish. Hopefully I still only take about a week to finish it, which if I read like I did last week, then I should definitely be able to do that if I don't skip any days. I do have a couple benchmarks again this week, so I may have time to read a ton at school, but we will see. So I'm going to start this vlog in a second, but that is all I have on Crown of Midnight. I love this book so much. Again, I want you all to comment down below your favorite book out of the whole series, and if you haven't watched my other 2 vlogs of Assassin's Blade and Throne of Glass, definitely go see those, because I just love reading these, and I feel like I'm gonna watch those vlogs back so many times. That just makes me think, when I finish the last book, I'm gonna have the biggest book hangover, and I think it's gonna be so hard for me to find a 5 star after I read this series. People keep saying that I should read Akatar if I like this series, but I just don't know if it's for me. So I don't know if I don't think I will read it unless I just absolutely miss Throne of Glass so much, but it's so good. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.